In Psalm 107, it says, He brought them out of darkness, the utter darkness, and broke away their chains. Let them give thanks to the Lord for his unfailing love. This is a part of my story. My name is Jenny Blount, and I've been going to Pinelake Church for 4 years. My husband Tyler and I have adopted before. Our daughter Everly is 8 years old, and so we started the adoption process again right before COVID. Adoptions really slowed down during that time, and so we had been waiting a really, really long time for a match, and then we were finally matched with a birth mom. Coming into P28, I kind of had this idea of what our family was going to look like. I knew we had been matched with a birth mom, and I thought, well, that's going to be my P28, and I know it's going to come true. So we're just weeks away from the baby being born. And then just days right before our first worship night for P28, the mom just out of the blue received a text message, and she just said, things have changed, I'm going in a different direction. And after that, we never heard from her again. To go back to that moment, I think that's probably the deepest grief I've ever felt, just in a season of already a lot of loss. It was just that like one thing that I was still holding on to, and I thought, you know, God is really gonna show up in this way. And I had a lot of expectations of how he was gonna show up. And so when that fell apart, it just ushered in this deep, deep season of grief and trying to figure out what to do next, how to pray next. So then P28 just kept on going into March and April and May. And my prayer started to be like, Lord, just give me open hands for what's next. And then when a little girl in our community ended up needing a place to stay, we were actually open to it. So after she had lived with us several weeks, she had been like sleeping on a cot in my daughter's bedroom, and we decided it was time for her to have a bed. And to put her bed up meant to take the crib down. And that was just a moment of saying like, okay, God, we're open to what you might do that might be different than what we thought. When it was time for her to leave, there's just a bittersweet feeling of proud that she can go back home, and also just sadness because she had changed so much in me, packing up her things and having an empty bed again in the house, and then dealing with my daughter who was grieving over the loss of being a big sister. Just felt like we were kind of back at the table of, okay, Lord, what do we do now? I think our life had to get really slow and quiet for me to find the joy and the gratitude in the fact that this wasn't really what I wanted. Then we got a phone call from our social worker saying that we had been picked to be parents to a baby girl that would be due in 2 weeks. When she was born and I got to be the first one to hold her, like, there's just no sweeter moment. In Psalm 107, it says, Then they cried to the Lord in their trouble, and he saved them from their distress. Let them give thanks to the Lord for his unfailing love. We're just so grateful. We just see the Lord in all of it. She's our answered prayer, and so we're so thankful. Just a deep, deep sense of gratitude.